What is up, gamers? Welcome back to Game Brigade. This is the Should You Back episode where we're going to be talking about a game that I want to talk about that's currently on crowdfunding, and that'll be Nippon Zaibatsu from Crowdfunding Games, currently on Kickstarter. Now, I have done a preview for this game, and I mentioned in previous videos, especially I think in my vlog, that this game is probably my favorite game of 2025. This is a game that we played the first time, and after that play, our group continually kept talking about it. In fact, some of the people were driving home, talking about some of the factories and the mechanics, and we decided to play it again, and then I played it again, and I have fallen in love with this game. So I want to talk about it. I think it's an incredible experience if you're into Euro games that have a lot of different decision-making processes. This might be for you. Also, as a reminder, we have a giveaway going on. Once we hit that 10,000 subscribers, we've got 3 giveaways now. So we have 3 total games we'll be giving away. One will be from IV Studios, another one will be Surya, and then we have Avalon the Riven Veil from Shadowborn Games. So to be eligible for one of those giveaways, you must comment on this video following the comment guidelines, which you'll have later on in this video, and be a subscriber to the channel. Also, remember to smash the like button. But without further ado, let's jump into Nippon here on Kickstarter. So Nippon, let's talk about what this game is. You have the story here. It's talking about how this game is about the Industrial Revolution of Japan, where they're trying to bring in more centralized industrialization as well as get their products out to the world. So we kind of are going to be dealing with that, and there's several ways we're going to do it. Most of the ways, let's go down to how to play, is it's an action selection game. But there's more to just the action selection, because the workers that you have here, these different colored workers, will play a part later on in the game. But for the most part, you're going to take a worker from one of the available action rows, which allow you to do one of those 2 actions. You're going to take the action, do the ability, and then you're going to place that worker into your board here. Let's see if they actually have a picture of your board. Right here. So you see those workers that just disappeared into the ground. You're going to place those workers into that location. Now, the important thing about the workers, the reason the colors matter, is that you have to pay for your workers at the start of your next turn. Every worker of a color costs $3, and it kind of matters because if you see here, you have this little green bar that transfers starting at 12. So you get $12 at the start of your turn on average. Now you can see that this player is around, looks like 15 at the start of their turn. But if you're looking at their colors, they've actually expertly picked both yellow and red. So they're only going to have to be paying $6 because you don't have to pay for each one. It's for each individual color. So if you go wide and you have a bunch of different colors, you might get a lot of actions that you wanted, but you're going to be paying for it when it comes around to the next turn when you have no income. And when you're looking at some of these actions that cost $6 to take a factory, $5 to do a tool on your factory, $6 to increase either your R&D or engineering or coal mining, it gets expensive. So you have to be aware of the type of actions you're going to be doing. So effectively, let's kind of talk about what this game does. I've also done a preview of this game. So if you really want a really thorough deep dive of the mechanics of the game, I would urge you to watch that video. It's everything you should know before you back this game, because it really goes deep into the mechanics and how this works. But this gives you a great idea. So we're just going to run through this top down quickly. Hire workers. So you're going to pick one of them once for the row like this. You have all these different actions. You can only select one of the 3 that are in that available row. And if any of those 3 eventually expire or taken, you have this available of queue workers that will replace them. Once all the queue workers are gone, end of the round. If you buy a factory like what they're doing here, you're going to place it to the bottom, and if you produce on that factory, you're going to produce boxes equal to the amount of available, and so you have their little gear slots here. So you have engineering, you can increase this building to produce more boxes, and the production cost is here. This is 2 coal. That 2 coal depends on how many engineering. You can produce 3 boxes for just 2 coal. It's great. There's also local supply markets. These are the products that you're selling and how you're distributing them and the influence you have within different regions of Japan. These numbers that are pre-filled on the board represent like foreign powers that have influence on your country, and you guys want to take that back. You want to have more influence over your own people and your own products. So you're going to be covering up their products with your products, and at the end of every scoring round, you're going to calculate all of their points versus all the player points to see who gets point scoring. You can see here you can be developing and modernizing your player board through different types of actions, mostly through increasing your R&D level, which gets you better technology, increasing your coal production, so every round you have more coal so that you can produce with more of your factories, producing your base income level, so you just start with more money at the start of each round, and then you're also going to have ability to send out boats and trains to increase your other influences. So for example, here they're sending out a train here, which increases their influence by 2 for every train in a region, and they're busting out their competition by replacing that 3 with their 4. You can only go on top of other people's stuff with a similar product and a higher number. So if you want to play that area control game, that's kind of how that works. And then you have recruit foreign experts. These are people from other countries that have benefits and tools to help your country with their specific skill set. And when you hire them, you're actually going to be increasing your player board, as you see here, increasing the benefits that you get when you take certain types of actions with those workers. And at the end of the round, you're going to consolidate. So when you have no more abilities to take action, or if you're out of resources, so you can't afford anything, you're going to consolidate, which is basically your income generation round. You're going to pay for all your workers, you're going to get all your new resources, and you're going to clear your board. And also you're going to take one of these pips and replace it onto here, which will be an end of game scoring point. If you don't have these pips filled at the end of the board, you're not going to get those points. So that's the rough of how this game works. It's an incredible game, very crunchy, very thinky, and as soon as you're playing, you're going to start thinking, okay, based on what everyone's doing, it really develops into a really interesting mechanic. There's also a rule book if you want to check it out. It's not that hard to read. In fact, the rule book that I have, which I'm assuming this is the same rule book, is a pretty good one because it breaks down each action in a row. And so you kind of have an idea really well of how this game works. There's also a tabletop simulator. You can check that out. Now, Nippon is a reprint from a game from, I believe, 2015, which was a highly acclaimed game. People love this game. So they took the game, they said, okay, we want to reprint this game. We want to bring it back out, bring it back into production, but we don't want to just do a straight reprint. They wanted to increase it. So they are including new resources, which these are very valuable because they change a lot of the ways the income structure changes. They're making some more unique factories, which really changes the meat of the game because you have a lot more decision paths and types of abilities and combinations that you can get with these factories. They've changed some of the updated actions, and I've talked about this in my preview. The consolidation's been fully reworked. Asymmetrical starting conditions. This is really important because a lot of people in the original game thought there was like a one-way, like best starting path, which can't happen in these games. Like these are the best actions you can take. And since your workers aren't like a traditional worker placement game where you block spots, you know, so it's not like that kind of thing. So people could all just do the same thing. Well, asymmetrical starting conditions mean every player is going to start with different resources as well as a starting boon. So you can see here at the top, we have your starting boon, and then down here you have those resources. These are going to be drafted in reverse player order. So the player who's going last is going to be able to pick first, and the player who goes first will be able to pick last. And there's going to be +1 to the amount of players. So if you have 4 players in a game, there'll be 5 total combinations of asymmetrical starting conditions to choose from. They'll be, you know, shuffled up and divided up, but paired together so that they're all locked together. The missions, which were the boats I've kind of talked about, that was reworked. And then you have a common goals module. I have not played the common goals module. It was not part of my prototype, so I don't much about it. And the solo mode, I did not touch on it. But the fact that it's there is beneficial for you guys. I believe it's an Automa driven one, so you could play it potentially with multiplayer, maybe. You know, don't know. That's usually how those work. So what's in the box? Now, my version of the game was a hybrid of the Emperor's Edition and the Standard Edition. I got a lot of the cool features of the Emperor's Edition, but not fully the Emperor's Edition, so let's talk about it. You've got the main board, you got all the factory tiles. Here you can see the differences between them, though. The Standard Edition only comes with the 24 unique factories. That's what I got, plus 6 late game factories. These are just, it adds another factory to each row, effectively. The Emperor's Edition gives you 48 factories, so they're going to be double-sided. That's huge. I think that's really cool. It increases the replayability. You can shuffle them up and decide, like, okay, let's have random decided factories so that you have a lot of different types of replayability. It also changes the kind of gameplays you're going to do, and those late game factories are also double-sided. So I think that's a huge bonus. Demand tiles, these are the resources that are placed on the board here. These are all random, too, so it's not set. You just have these boards, you shuffle them up, you place them face down on all all these locations, and you turn them up and whatever orientation they are, and that's what they're at. So I think that's kind of a cool feature. Starting tokens, these are those 10 starting tokens I was telling you about, the 5 and 5. Oh, they're including 6 more extra starting tokens in the Emperor's Edition. So that's even cooler. You get even more variety with your starting variables. I think that's cool. Didn't even know about that. So obviously I only had these starting tokens, the 10 that were included in my box. So here's 6 more. You have the department tokens. These are standard and what we have, but the will be cardboard tokens, which is what I have in mind. But there'll be heat printed wooden tokens. Actually, I might have the heat wooden print. I can't remember what I have, but these are heat printed. You know, obviously wooden, a little chunkier, a little more durable, will last a lot longer. And then you've got the worker meeples. Then you have a cloth bag. You'll have a custom printed bag with a flat bottom. That's actually kind of cool. Flat bottom means it's going to stand up better. Either one's fine. I have the black bag. This is because when you put the workers on the board, they're completely random. So every time you're consolidating, you're done with your workers, you place them back in the bag, you give them a really good shuffle, and then when you place things back out, it's all randomized, so there's no really understanding of what's going to come out, and you could have just all one color. Sometimes it's really crazy when those things happens. You've got the expert order tokens, the round tokens, the good cubes. Now, this is where I have some of the hybrid version. I've got these screen printed ones. They're nice. All of these tokens are super nice, having the screen printed ones over just say a cube. Really enjoyed having those, and they added a really nice element to it. The money tokens, if you back during the campaign, they're actually giving you free metal ones, so that's a benefit there. But the money is money, you know, whatever. The player boards are dual layered. This is also a change from the original game where they were just flat, which is insane. Who plays with that kind of stuff? Dual layer, it's the only way to go. But this makes it much easier. You've got these condition tracks. These are additional ways to make resources. 32 of those. Okay, so you got the track markers. This is all looking the same with all of our stuff. And then you've got the player handbooks. Those look really good compared to what I have. And then you've got the Automa board. And then we have the Emperor's Edition, which is the additional rewards for game achievements. Now, I did not have this. Remember, I didn't have these additional rewards in my box, nor do I have a modular organizer for my game, which will be great, making setup and teardown much easier. So what do we have here for the pledges? Well, the Emperor's Edition is $80. The Standard Edition is $60. In my opinion, based on the additional gameplay, the additional upgraded deluxe components, I think $20 for the Emperor's Edition is well worth it, guys. The additional gameplay mechanics with the tiles alone, the factories, to me, is 100% worth the pledge. I'm telling you flat out, like, they are so good, and being able to get more additional combinations makes the game just that more replayability long term. So you're going to be able to get those. Remember, you get those free metal coins if you pledge this version. Gold foil box, you take it or you leave it. I'm not going to say no. I'd still pay the $20 just for all the other upgrades, so it's kind of cool. And then if you want to do 2 of them for whatever reason, you can. It's a little bit of a discount savings there versus just buying 1. In terms of shipping and all things, they do have a tariff note here. Because of tariffs, they're not going to be doing retail. So if you do want this game, it's not going to be available at retail. So you're going to have to back through the campaign now, or you're going to have to find it in the secondary market, which, depending on the market, could go up or down. Just be aware of that. Now, they do say that if the tariffs change, if they go back to, say, 20%, then that could potentially change with the retail release. So just be aware of that. And currently, they are expecting about a 5% increase on the cost of the game if the 145% tariffs stay when they're ready to collect shipping, and that will all be collected during shipping. But if the tariffs change or if there's differences here, this will be reduced. So just please be aware of it. I think a 5% increase isn't too bad. This game's pretty good. I could easily have seen it around 99 comparatively to other games like Castles of Burgundy and all those other deluxe games that I've recommended. I could easily see this being in combinations with those, so I think we're still getting a pretty good deal on that. Check out the shipping and VAT. Make sure if it's related to you to be aware of what that is. But overall, also check out some of these media previews. Obviously, I've got me in here, so watch my videos, of course. But there are some new guys that I haven't seen before. Board Game Dad, almost 20,000 subscribers. Check out his video. And they got this new one, this Board Game Adventures, 880 subscribers. Check those guys out. I think it's really cool that Crowdy Games reaches out to new channels like these guys here and gives them support. When I was really small channel, Crowd reached out to me. They're one of the first companies that ever reached out to me for review content, and I'm grateful for them. And so I really do appreciate them. So take that into consideration. Any biases, obviously, relationships and all that stuff. But I do really appreciate them. I think that's great that they reach out to smaller guys, channels, obviously, and give them some benefits. So let's go to my big head. Let's also get through with the giveaway comment. So for the giveaway for the 3 games now, we're making this big. We got to get to the subscribers, though. We're kind of hitting a floundering part. We need the 10,000 subscribers to give away those 3 games. We'll be giving away an IV game. Not quite sure exactly what it could be. It could be Moonrakers. It could be Veiled Fate. It could be Mythic Mischief, which is right there. It could be any of those. I haven't quite decided which one we're going to do there, but it'll be one of those. And obviously all these games we've talked about at the beginning of the video. So anyways, I want to leave a comment with hashtag QOTD for question of the day. And I want to know, what are your thoughts on these heavier Euros? Are these games that are aligning with your gameplay? Let me know in the comment section down below. And especially, what do you think about this campaign? I am hyped. This is a game I had a great time. I don't know how much more I can express the gameplay. I think it was because it was also a game that felt just like a really well-made, clean game in terms of the mechanics all worked. The iconography, once you learn the system, is clear and makes sense. And you can really get into a good flow of a game, and it's very, very crunchy. So I really liked it. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. Again, as always, remember to smash that like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell, click all, not personalized, all. You're the real champs. And look forward to a new vlog coming out next Sunday. I will talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.